Hello, Mr. Monty Oum. Hello, Bernie. I was very excited about the moment my first scene showed up at a convention. No one had any idea what to expect. Got a full house for the Ruby panel, with Red vs. Blue and Rooster Teeth as a company, there's a lot of things we hope to create to make people happy in ways they wouldn't expect. Red, white, black, and yellow because of Asian. It's easy to forget to sleep when you're working on something cool. So you just work as hard as you can, and still there's never enough time. So the thing you gotta learn to is essentially let go. What we end up making is always larger than what we think it'll be. I do believe thoroughly in giving everything you got towards whatever you're doing at the time. My favorite thing this time around was sharing it with everyone else, my colleagues, my friends, who all worked on this project. For the longest time, it was just assumed we ended up here for some reasons that we don't need to think about. But we tend to be masters of our own fate. The only thing that stops us from doing the really cool things is time. We're in a huge fan culture where everything is something that's spawned off of something. If you look at something and intend to use it, you have to emulate it, which means you have to understand it. I've landed in a very unique place where if I want to make a costume from something, I can also make the character that it's derived from. Nice player, yeah. Person. Yeah, mate. At the end of the day, we're still looking at people and making them behave like people. As an animator, there are things you need to notice that most people wouldn't be seeing. The most important thing, do this as often as you can. Watch movies or watch shows or watch things. Just keep your eyes open. There's a lot of destiny, really. I mean, very few people have the luxury of doing exactly what they want to do as their job. There's never a day where I forget that. Moving forward is, I always think about what's next. So like, I'm super excited to finish what we have so that I can just start working on something else.
And you will be missed. As you saw there, to anybody who is tuning in that did not know, Monty passed away on February 1st at 4:43. He is a man that will be missed, that's for sure. You might be asking yourself, what does the insane member of Team Graphic have to respect Monty with? The answer is a whole lot of hell. A hell of a lot of stuff I have to thank him for. I told you this stream would be how Monty impacted my life. Let's go ahead and start with the whole downside of it. 6th grade, started middle school. Social outcasts. I never had many friends in the 6th grade. Those I did had almost always betrayed me. Stabbed me in the back, left me out to rot, and the second they had no one else, they ran back to me. I was a social outcast, clean to whoever would spend time with me. I was so stuck in this perpetual thing that I fell into depression and contemplated the thoughts of homicide and suicide multiple times throughout my middle school. 7th grade, it started to get worse and better. Started to get worse because the bullying increased. Started to get better because I actually found a friend. 6th grade, I had found Red vs. Blue. I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was only 5 seasons. In truth, they were working on season 6 when I found it. So 7th grade, I'd already watched Red vs. Blue, so I just went on with it. I had a friend. She helped see me through a whole lot of it. I have a lot to thank her for, too. Then 8th grade came around. I found Red vs. Blue again. I started watching it. I was in the middle of Season 8 when I caught up. So I watched Season 6 and Season 7 pretty much in a week. I watched Season 8 and absolutely loved it. That's when the name Monty Oum popped in. I had never heard of the man before. I'd never seen his Haloid stuff. I'd never seen Dead Fantasy. So when I saw this CGI for Red vs. Blue, I was amazed. Because it surprised me. As it was, I never even thought about the laser face being done by Monty Oum, the first one, until they started talking about it. And I was like, Monty Oum did that. Nobody realized. The warthog crashing to the wall was what caught our attention. High school came around. I went 2 years without watching Red vs. Blue. I saw a preview for Season 9. Never actually watched Season 9 until Season 10 was starting. So, I pretty much, when my sophomore year came around, I watched Season 9 and then Season 10. Season 10. That was my favorite RVB season yet. Because I haven't finished Season 11 yet. Well, actually, no, I have. Season 12 I haven't finished yet. But Season 10 was my favorite. It concluded a storyline. It had kick-ass CGI. And the story direction. Miles and Monty put so much work into it that I was amazed. It was seeing that stuff. Seeing the fun they had doing this stuff. Seeing the family they've pretty much made at their company. That's what drove me to decide I wanted to be a member of Rooster Teeth. Not just a member of the fandom, but an actual employee. So I could spend time with these people I respect, these people that enjoy life so much. It drove me to a new dream. Before that, I was interested in science, but I was quickly falling out of that dream. It just wasn't me anymore. But when I saw what Monty did, when I saw that, despite how much work they put in, how much pressure put them in, they still smiled and laughed and enjoyed every day of their lives. And they made these friends that would last a lifetime. These people they worked next to, doing what they love. I wanted me to be one of them. I had thoughts return. I had friends that see me through it. My niece had been born when I graduated from middle school. And she helped see me through the most of it. But the work Monty did, whenever I was sad or depressed or just overall angry, one video from Rooster Teeth could get me laughing and let me enjoy all of that. Just let me forget the pain for at least 5 minutes while I laughed and enjoyed it. Brought a smile back to my face, and I would think about it, and before it returned, I'd think to myself, why would I want to be sad my entire life? Why would I want to end it when there's so much possibility? The thought scared me, so I never gave in. I fought against it to live to this day. But once Season 10 ended, I was introduced to the Ruby trailer. The Red trailer. Ruby's trailer. To this day, it's still my favorite Ruby trailer. Because not only was the music kick-ass, which I can't give Jeff and Casey Williams enough credit on this, but the music was kick-ass. The animation, so fluid, so smooth, so coordinated. The voice acting was a bit sketchy, but he had just started it. The black trailer introduced the first voice acting for Ruby. Who was I to complain? That was my only grievance. I watched them. I loved them. I became a fan at the end of Season 10. That each time a trailer was announced, I was ecstatic. Each time Monty would talk about it, I would watch and listen. I love Ruby. It's a thing. Like, even the show, even without the show, I have met great people through it. I joined the Ruby group. I forget when. Honestly, I think it was that I joined pretty much during the trailer releases. I'm not 100% sure anymore. But I became more active after Volume 1 ended. I've just been thinking about it. The details are starting to pop back in my head, but I don't remember exactly. But I joined this group. It was a really fun group. I met great people. Like, I got introduced to our admin, Yokira. That's a character. Before we had Sai, we had Yokira. And Yokira is definitely a standalone figure. Granted, Yokira's calmed down in the insanity, but it's still pretty insane. I met other people. I became slight friends with the main admin, Eric. That's sort of a talking terms. We talk a bit about SAO, all that. I met Ryan. He was definitely a fun guy. Though, what's funny is, he is a lot more eccentric than you would think. Plus, his voice is really deep. I didn't expect his voice to be that deep when I first heard it. But, all of that. I met Brandon Coleman, who's more of a guy I had just talked to in comment sections, but was a standalone figure. Met Gabby, or Serenity, whatever name you want to call her. She's pretty fun. Definitely a lot more fun in person than in Facebook character account. Monty birthed an entire fandom in 2 years. He had brought a lot of people together in one fandom. And what makes this fandom so fun is it combines all other fandoms into one. Homestuck was an example, but Homestucks always think about Homestuck usually when they're on the subject. Ruby, when we're on the off season, we have talk about everything. Like in the seasons, we talk about Ruby almost exclusively, but when it's off, we talk about everything. We have members who love Sherlock. We have members who love Avengers, members who love Homestuck, as I do, etc., etc. As you go along, you find all these other interesting characters, all these great people. And it was all from the dream of one guy, who it all started with an animation of a scythe turning into a sniper scythe, of Crescent Rose. Monty started everything. I watched Ruby. I loved it. I introduced it to one of my friends. She loved it. But I graduated high school pretty much right before Season 2 started. I almost went to RTX 2014. Only reason I didn't go, 2014. Only reason I didn't go, I didn't have the money. Plus, there would have been no way I could have gotten a ride that close to the 4th of July. But I set myself on a goal after that. After I saw how much fun everybody had, after I saw how much fun Ryan had, I set myself that I would go to RTX 2015. I would save up all the money I could, get a job, save up money. Even if I had to go to college and sign up for Austin AU, I would go to RTX. I got jobs. I started all out. This was the immediate goal I wanted. And I almost have it now. Out of the 7-8 months I've been in the workforce, I have gotten money. I have over $1,000 saved for RTX, going on $2,000. If I get $2,000, I can afford it. If I can get $3,000, I can afford it definitely. I was so obsessed with this. And the thing is, what took me by surprise was we'd always been more worried. We never thought anything bad would happen to Monty Oum. All of us were more worried that he'd kill off one of the characters because we thought he's in good health. He's going to be with us for a long time. He's going to see Ruby to the end. Then the characters. We weren't sure if the characters were going to see it through to the end, and we wanted that. It was a shocker, honestly. I dealt with so many troll posts popping up, like anime banned in Japan, cosplayers not allowed to cosplay in Minnesota, stuff like that. So when I saw Monty Oum hospitalized, I was like, who's trolling me now? When I read up and saw all of it, the posts going around, I was like, fuck, Monty has been hospitalized. And I read into it, it's just like, he's gonna get better. This guy fights. He's not gonna die on us. I believe that so thoroughly that when I saw Monty Oum dies at 33 pop in my news feed after I woke up after a day at work, I was like, this is a sick joke. Whoever said this is gotta be lying. I wish it was a sick joke. The news that Monty passed hurt. It's like if somebody punched me in the gut. Next morning, I got the news that my great-grandma passed away. I learned it pretty much within the same reasoning that I learned Monty had died. When I learned this, it destroyed me. Monty wasn't the first person to help me through my depression, but he's a person who indirectly saw me through dark points in time, made me laugh, just all around made me feel happy. A guy who had given up a lot of hope, seeing these videos that made me laugh and enjoy myself. I started becoming a goofball because I decided being sad's not going to help anything. It's better to be an idiot and make people happy than to be somebody who mopes around and just breaks the moods. Monty taught me a lot. That life is short. Unfortunately, this is a lesson. Life is short, but you need to keep moving forward. You need to keep moving. Because if you stop, time will catch up to you. Time will kill you. It is the enemy, but it is also your only ally. There is one certainty in life: death. Nothing else is certain. Whatever else happens is up to you and me. Monty won't be forgotten. Monty will never be forgotten. He has a legacy, and we'll ensure that legacy sticks. When you think about it, he achieved so much in 2 years. In just 2 years, he made a hit show. In fact, in 1 year, he made it. He drew in a fandom. In the second year, he drew in more. For people getting ready for season 3 or volume 3, whatever. Rooster Teeth is like a family. I want to be a part of that family. But it's because I want to be a part of that family that this hurts me so badly. Monty, to me, is one of the pillars of Rooster Teeth. You've got the pillars, like the pillars that hold up the company, that constantly come up every once in a while. A new one. You get Bernie, the main column. You get Matt, Gus, Jeff. You get all of those. The original members are always main pillars. But you also get other ones that help support the company. Like, you get people like the Achievement Hunters. You've got people like Lindsay. You've got so many. It's hard to say them all. But as days go by, each member that joins that family becomes a new person who uphold that company together under all circumstances. It's just, if any of them died, it would hurt. But Monty hits home. I lasted 9 hours before I started crying. And that was when I clocked out at work and people started giving me their grievances and all that for my grandma. I may sound a little bad here, a little naughty, but losing Monty was a bigger punch than losing my great-grandma. I think it's because my great-grandma lived a life full healthy. Had so many children that went on to give her grandchildren and even great-grandchildren. And great-great-grandchildren. She lived a life. She outlived her husband and outlived one of her own children. That would be horrible for anybody to have to deal with. I think the reason I was willing to accept it was because she lived her life. And she dealt with so much pain for a mother, for a wife. She grew old with her husband before he died. She had so many loving grandchildren, so many loving great-grandchildren, and a small bit of great-great-grandchildren who never even got to see her. No matter which way you looked at it, she lived her life fully. Monty, he still had years. He'd pretty much just gotten married a year before. I didn't even know he was married until all this surfaced. But he got married to Sheena. He had a loving wife. He was living a dream. He had somebody who loved him right behind him. He had a family at back home that supported him. He had friends that whenever he needed support, they'd help in an instant. He had all of this. He had so much to live for, so much promise in him. Yet so quickly taken away. It can happen to anybody, you know. Whether it's by nature's hand, by someone else's hand, or by your own hand. Your life will come and go. Death is the one certainty in the world. But whatever else you want to make certain, you have to do it yourself. Sorry if this is a bit long-winded, but like I said, it hits home. I'm willing to accept it now. For the first day, I didn't want to accept it. Never wanted to accept it. Talking with people like Walker, Johnny, all that, helped me to come to terms with it. But moping around, screaming at ourselves that it was preventable, is never going to solve it. Monty Oum is dead. He passed away. He's gone. But his legacy will live on. Besides, if ever I forget this, I have 4 people that will remind me of this legacy. One of which, Ryan. I think he was more hurt than I was. Monty was his inspiration. With Johnny, he is hurt. Because Monty wasn't just an inspiration to him. Monty was a driving force for him. Walker, I don't entirely know Walker's stance. He's an enigma at some points, but Walker was hurt. Because with Walker, again, he works a lot. He loves Ruby. He loves the people at Rooster Teeth. Same with Brandon. All of us love the show. But we love the people behind the masks more. For one reason. They made it for us. Monty will live on. As of right now, I don't even care what happens to Ruby. I'll be ecstatic when it starts up again. But as of right now, I just want Monty's friends and family to be able to get over this crisis. Now I'm sounding selfish. They can never get over it. All they can do is keep moving forward, eh? My advice to all of you. I'm going to have to take words from Monty Oum, though. Keep moving forward. The only thing that can stop you from doing something great is time. Listen to me. I mean, take the quotes from him. Regardless, I have to thank all of you for everything you've done. But some of you really just are idiots. You know who you are out there. And I'm asking you, like I did in the group, to let the wounds heal before you pry into them. Before you pry into Ruby, let the wounds heal on his friends and family. They'll be able to move on, but they'll never be able to forget. As it is, they haven't even hit the toughest road yet. Come the start of production for Volume 3, it's all gonna start hitting them about just the loss they had. When that happens, be there for them, help them, and make sure you see them through to the end. Help them to be able to cope with it. Because without Monty for this production, not only are they down the best animator they have, they are down a head of Ruby, they are down a creative inspiration, and they are down just his atmosphere. That's going to hurt them. That's going to require getting used to. It'll be up to us to help see them through it. I'm rambling, aren't I? It's about time I ended this anyway. It's going on half an hour. To anybody who's watching this, thank you. Make sure to take these words to heart, because it's going to help out a lot. It'll be up to us to help those we need. This is Sean Fry, or Chaos Nightshade, signing out. And honestly, talking about this does make me feel better. Thank you. Thank you, Monty. When I'm up there one day, you're on the list. I've got other people first who need me. Thank you, and have a good night, everybody.